Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3. I think it's okay. I'm going to have to talk a bit softly, I think, and be generally a bit careful. One moment. Hang on. Just going to pause that. Right. Is it showing properly? Should be okay. Let me just do a quick test. Shit, for some reason that doesn't work. So that's the camera. That's not Lulu. She's elsewhere. Okay. Right. Hi everyone. Hi and welcome. For those new to Silent Hunter, sorry for the giant letterboxes. The letterbox resolution here. I did try to get the game into 1080p, and some other Silent Hunter 3 streamers have succeeded, but for some reason I just kept getting continual crashes. I got it to the point where I got the game running and then just kind of left it alone. So I'm afraid the resolution is going to have to be it. Oh. So, as you can probably tell, I'm not very healthy. For the last week or so, I was pretty much knocked on my arse by what my doctor says was a throat infection, followed by a hyper-overstimulation of my asthma. But since the medication that I was issued for that purpose didn't actually do anything, I suspect that it may have been just a normal chest infection. Sorry, bear with me. Hang on. Damn, my inability to mute quickly is going to be a problem. I need to clear my throat repeatedly without doing it down the microphone. Let me have a look at the hotkeys. Why is it not assigned then? 1 second, please. Hang on. Sorry folks, bear with me. I'm just fiddling with some hotkeys in the background. I need to be able to rapidly just press one hotkey in order to mute so I don't sniffle down the microphone. I've got some honey and lemon in a mug in front of me. As you can probably tell, my voice is quite nasally. Hang on, so hotkeys, overlays, camera. Is it specific to the scene, or is it just like a mute all function? It was working before, but I set it up years ago. Here we go. Oh, that's fucked. Okay, that shouldn't be like that at all. Whoa, has something happened to OBS's hotkey functions? This is completely wrong. No. Okay, that would explain why my stream notifications kept going off. Yeah, here you are. Yeah, that's completely wrong. No, they've... I didn't do this. Hang on. Okay, let's try this now. Cool, I can quickly mute. So hang on, 1, 2. Cool, I can quickly mute on command, so I don't have to keep sniffling down the microphone accidentally. Right, hi everyone. So hi and welcome. So, sorry, starting from the top. I was taken down with with a throat infection last week, so we're gonna have to see how I do. If the answer is not well, I may have to cut the stream a bit shorter than usual. But yes, how's everyone doing? You all okay? Hang on. Is that the audio bug? It is, isn't it? I might have to restart the game quickly. Ugh. Hang on. Oh, it's got that audio bug where the surf keeps playing all the time. Hang on. Let me just restart it. There we go. Exit because of the bug. Exit the mission. Maybe I'll just... Yeah, I won't restart the game. I'll just reload the mission. Right. So, a quick start then. So, thank you Formiga, Miss Viking, The Real 3 Ilo, Bounce, Empress Virgin, Captain Alex and Kevlar Hamster and Green Bear and Romulus, and Unlucky Live and Nasha Daily. Thank you all of you folks. Thank you for subbing. Thank you for your generosity. So on the YouTube side of things, folks, please know that I'm working on Armour Bullshittery Part 10. So far, so good. So, despite being knocked on my arse... Sorry, 1 minute. Damn it. Now the mute isn't working. So despite being knocked on my arse quite considerably for the last week or so, I was able to do quite a bit of the cutting for the next bullshittery. So on that front, the Armour Bullshittery is technically edited end to end. One could sit down and watch it. The problem is it doesn't have any of the keyframing, so I've got to start that soon. What I'm doing right now is I'm going through and trying to do a sort of phase 2 of the editing, which I normally, through bad habit, add to the quality assurance at the end. So what's happening now is I'm trying to get the bullshittery in a state where it's much smoother as you watch it through, simply because I lack the... Oh, hang on. I lack the necessary concentration to sit there and start the keyframing, which I probably would have done earlier. So that's what's going on with YouTube. So Too Long Didn't Read, I'm working on Armour Bullshittery Part 10. Insofar as what you're looking at here then, for those not familiar, welcome to the submarine sim Silent Hunter 3, which was released back in 2005, I believe. Oh, thank you Mikey Buster and Heron, and Tango Alpha and John Word. Thank you all of you. So, you're looking at a sub-sim created in 2005. We're playing as U110, I think we are. Hang on. Sorry, U108, my mistake. We are a Type 9B U-boat. The Type 9B U-boat is a much longer range, much heavier set U-boat that was typically used to attack the American coastline during the Second World War. So we're in 1943 in the Second World War. Sorry, one second, I'm struggling. Forgive me, hang on. Sorry, I'm finding that my nose is getting blocked rather rapidly and I can't easily clear it without making disgusting noises. Right. So, yes, we're in 1943 in the Second World War, and we're out in the Atlantic Ocean. Now, I was playing while I was sick, simply because it was a game that I could just sit quiet and sort of cerebrally play through. Now, what we're trying to do is we're trying to attack convoys that are heading from the United States of America and Canada in order to resupply Fortress Britain, who is currently fighting valiantly against the Nazi war machine, specifically around her coastline, but also over here in Africa. The Allies have actually pushed Rommel, well, not Rommel anymore, but they've certainly pushed all of the North African forces all the way back to Tunisia. So bear in mind that they were all the way, where were they? Tobruk, did they get further than here? I can't remember, but they managed to get all the way to El Alamein. So they've been forced all the way back here. It's crazy. So, what we're trying to do is well, this is the Battle of the Atlantic. This is a tonnage war. We're out here to attack their convoys, to sink their fuel tankers, and attack their cargo ships. Now, there is a convoy out here. I know this because I've attacked them already. I sunk 2 of their ships, but it did cost me quite a few torpedoes. I'm about to attempt my next attack here, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be in their path. They're out there somewhere. So, let's do this. Take us down to periscope depth.
Yes, sir.
And ahead slow. Thank you, Fast Dog. Thank you. Ooh. And thank you, Brynwyn. Right. No, I haven't, Heron. This is as far as I've ever got in one sitting campaign. And thank you, Eric Ruse. Thank you. Okay. Whoops, sorry. So, let's switch to the hydrophone and see if he can pick up the sound of propellers as we go deeper. We might have to wait some time. Okay. How does the campaign end? Don't you always lose? Yes, indeed. Nazi Germany fell on its arse and failed in the Second World War. Yeah, there's nothing that we could do to change that. This isn't some alternate history game. This is a sim. Okay. Our periscope is up. The seas are very rough. It's currently April the 11th, 1943. The local time is about 20 minutes to 5 out in the ocean. So, the tough weather conditions, or at least the choppy sea conditions, means that I'm going to have to get relatively close if I'm going to spot anything. What happens if you take on the entire British Navy at once? You get sunk immediately. Yes. So the U-boat is, this is a game of cat and mouse on the Atlantic Ocean. The convoys are the cheese. We're not the cat. We never were. Well, maybe arguably we were at one point, but very rapidly the torpedo boat destroyer, commonly just shortened to the destroyer, really it should have its name changed to the submarine destroyer. They are the hunters of the Atlantic Ocean, and we've got to avoid them. So, in 1943, things are really difficult. So those destroyers are extremely formidable. They're joined by corvettes, which are utilizing an early form of sonar, also depth charges, also teamwork, also airplanes, to meet, which basically means that the U-boat is, very much the hunted out on the ocean. So, also bear in mind that this is 1943. So pretty soon, we're going to, next month is going to be May 1943, typically considered to be the turning point in the Battle of the Atlantic, known as Black May in the Kriegsmarine. It was basically a month where they lost about 25% of all U-boats and sank very few ships, or at least fewer ships than usual. It sort of implemented triggered a recall in which the Kriegsmarine had to reassess their strategies. Thank you, Tommelwood. Hi there, Tommelwood. Okay. So, I'm just going to speed up the time. So we're just cruising. Oh, here we go. Right, so, stop. So we've got a propeller off to bearing 7-2. Switch to the hydrophone operator. So, let's try and see what it is. That's a destroyer. Faster, you hear it? Oh, and I hear something breaking up. Interesting. Metal bending? Did one of the ships get sunk? Okay. Thank you, Fierce Beast. Thank you. Okay, so let's speed up the time. So bring the boat to a complete stop. So let's see how we do. So, speeding up the time, that's definitely a destroyer on a sweeping action. That must be another destroyer. Okay, so getting close to this convoy is going to be very difficult. Let's see if we can do it without getting spotted. What am I doing? Yeah, what am I dealing with inside? Okay, so I've managed to get all 4 gas-powered torpedoes into the 4 forward torpedo bays. As you can see, I've gone through almost all of my forward reserves. Oh, hang on. Why are the aft tubes empty? Shit. Hang on. Tell the men. Let me just get the stern torpedo room. Where's my torpedo man? Kurt. Could you get round the back with some men there? Okay, could you please start loading those torpedoes? Are we in silent running? Secure, yeah, we're secured from silent running. So please move those torpedoes from the floor of the torpedo room into the aft tubes. Okay? So, for those not familiar, the torpedo itself is really just it's really a small submersible. It is a pretty chunky thing. If you've ever seen a torpedo in person, they're huge. So, they're currently mounted on the walls on the floor of the torpedo room. They're being lifted up via winches carefully onto a guide rail, and then they're loaded into the torpedo tubes. It is a slow and loud process. Lots of chains. So, we need to do it early before their guys with their own hydrophones will hear us. Okay. So, multiple additional propellers. I presume this is the incoming convoy. Okay, so that's probably the outer edge. So, assume that's the outer edge, moving at 112.5 degrees. Okay, so that would place us here. How far are we from the center? 7 kilometers. Now, with gas torpedoes, their maximum range is about 12 kilometers, moving at a slow speed.
Contact, merchant, closing, bearing.
But our ability to spot at this range, with this level of chop, is going to be not 12 kilometers, basically. So, where is the center of this convoy? And where is that front destroyer? Speed up time just a smidge. There. So this is probably... That's probably the middle of the convoy. This is more just me give a guess, really. Okay. How far away? 5 kilometers. Okay. You know what? I'm going to try...
Bearing 70, long range.
Let's move here. Tell the helmsman to go here. Head slow.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Ahead 1/3.
And that would put us about 4 kilometers away. From that range, if we don't get spotted, which is a big if, we should be able to line ourselves up with a good shot. If we do get spotted, we have to break away, so...
Contact,
Okay.
merchant, closing, bearing 7, 6, long range.
Right.
Contact, merchant, closing, bearing 7, 5, long range.
Yeah, we're not in silent running yet. We will soon. How soon? Probably need another 12 minutes. Okay. Yeah, I don't think they have air cover. So we're here in what is a pretty notorious gap in their air cover. See here? So we're actually looking at it now. We've moved quite far, haven't we? Grid 8. Okay, no, technically we are within range of Icelandic-based ground aircraft now. So, oh dear. Yeah, we best be careful. Thank you, Voodoo. Thank you very much, Voodoo. Apologies once again, so I just need to clear my nose without making... Oh, sorry, pardon me. Oh dear, I just want to be well again. Yes, indeed, Ninjuka, ground aircraft. So, as opposed to the carrier-deployed sea aircraft, the seaplanes, which are being launched from small task carriers, escort carriers, sorry, the ground aircraft are a way bigger concern. They can travel, well, they're big suckers with lots of fuel. Right. Thank you, Martbot. Thank you very much, Martbot. Okay, so let's continue forward. So it's really a question of whether or not we can get close to fire off our torpedoes. So I'm just going to pop the kettle off for another lemon and honey.
Contact.
Ooh.
Warship closing. Bearing. 1. Long range.
Ooh. God damn. Ah, dear. Anyway, so for the people just passing through the stream, yeah, the bullshittery is Armour 10, Armour Bullshittery Part 10, and the cutting is still underway. Going well, though. I'm pretty confident with this one. I think it's quite funny. Okay. So, let's speed up the time for a smidge. Alright, so we're going to go here and we're going to cut engines.
Yes, sir.
Now I'm going to leave the periscope up because I really would like to get a spot on the destroyer. Now the destroyers, even though there are a great deal of them, they do still have quite a lot of ground to cover, so they have to sort of swing like this. So if I can get lucky, if I can say spot that he's going here, I might be able to just quickly reverse propeller to sneak past him. It's a big if. This is 1943. Getting close to a convoy is harder.
Merchant closing. Bearing. 6. 8. Long range. Contact. Merchant closing.
Thank you,
Bearing,
Bass
7,
Gannon and
1.
Sharuto. Sharuroto and Jaznap and Kilnotic and Mart Bot. Thank you, all of you. Okay. So, to speed up the time. So actually, are we completely dead in the water? Oh, we're just kind of drifting, aren't we? Right, so, oh hello, we got a visual on something. So that's one of the destroyers. Okay, so where are you? That destroyer is roughly bearing 70. We can see a smokestack. Thank you, Wombat and Toby. Bring me up to 12 meters. Okay.
1, 2 meters.
There. Destroyer escort. I presume it's probably American. The Americans have thoroughly got their shit together now. It's not 1942 anymore. The Americans know what they're doing. They're actually taking this seriously. 1942, they were a complete fucking mess. Shooting at the Americans, it was like shooting at fish in a barrel. But now, not anymore. They're now fearsome. They've learnt their lesson. Thank you, Ninchuka. Thank you very much, Nin. Okay. So, can you see? So he's sweeping back and forth. So there's another destroyer here and here. That's one tight screen. That's one very tight screen. I'm going to get lucky if I can get close. Okay, so maybe we should plan a shot sooner rather than later. Really, probably the first thing I can see. So I'm actually going to go to the tactical... Yeah, so give me a salvo of tubes 2 and tubes 1 and tubes 4 on about 5 meters deep impact. Okay. Reset all of these torpedo guidance instruments for the minute. Okay. And then for the spread, keep it very tight. Thank you, Bacon, Beetlebots, and Rexon, and Woolwolf. Thank you, all of you. Okay, 1 minute. Keep tracking him. Just gonna make this honey and lemon. Well, guess who managed to spill about 1/3 of the bottle of lemon juice down his trousers? Thank you, young sir, and Stalks and Tricks. Thank you very much. Okay. So there's the destroyer performing its sweep. So it's a question of whether or not we can either creep close enough or... So where's the edge of his sweep? So will he do this, for example, and then we can get in here? Maybe. Again, I'm not overly confident, folks. We're probably going to get seen. It happens. We're going to have to get quite lucky. Okay, there. Okay, so that looks to be the edge of his sweep. So, 112 degrees is probably his outer edge. So, is he going to go here? Here? We should probably creep forward, shouldn't we? Let's creep forward to the edge of his sweep. Here?
Yes, sir. Ahead slow.
Now put us into silent running.
Rig for silent running.
Thank you, Ninchuka and Select. Thank you. So for those not familiar, silent running is where we're going to go very slow, so our engine, our propeller at the back, doesn't make much noise. Certainly not enough noise to be detected over the sound of the ocean. But also all men on board are to be quiet. No loud talking, no rattling of chains. Everyone just stay silent. For we have a hydrophone operator, listening with underwater microphones, but so do they. And yes, you can pick up the sounds of people, you know, talking. Thank you, Nilect, same, and Vane. Yep, you can hear sneezing. Okay, we need to get it. Yeah, we need a target. We're not here to just evade destroyers. We need to attack and destroy something. So, thank you, game dev. All the best, you sir. Oh dear. So keep creeping forward, moving at 2 knots. Range to the convoy is going to be a probable 2.6 kilometers, which is pretty good. Okay. So, I know that the convoy is moving at 8 knots. Let's give it a save. All right. Let's creep forward. Ah, why is he going back? What's that about? Did he detect something interesting? Are we going to be okay? What's he doing? Let's dip down that periscope for a second. I see the convoy. Barely. No, I need this periscope. I need to try and see where they are. Yes, indeed, Krusty. So, for those not familiar with the Battle of the Atlantic, it was the longest-running campaign in the Second World War, and arguably the most important one. Upon its back rested pretty much the entire war. It was Nazi Germany's attempt to sever this artery between, the Atlantic artery. All of these supplies coming into the European allies, most notably the United Kingdom. If Nazi Germany could take over the Atlantic Ocean, then America would stay over there, and England would be isolated, Britain would be isolated, and picked apart by the might of Nazi Germany. So, the intention was to have about, I think it was around, I want to say about 300 U-boats in order to plunge a dagger into Britain's supply heart. Dönitz started the war with something like, it was way fewer than 100. I think it was like 70? Probably got that number wrong. And throughout the war, they were never able to achieve the number of U-boats that they needed. Next month, though, is going to be the month where it's really where the Kriegsmarine is at their peak. So I think it was about 240 operational U-boats Not all of those were in the Atlantic, of course, but 240 moving between pens, repair, and out in service. Yeah, these seas were alive with the U-boats. Right. Thank you, Santos and Stuffy. Now, our objective is not to attack some random destroyer. We're not going to win the war that way. It's that. Hello. That's a tanker. That's a prize. That's a big prize, everybody. Okay. 102 degrees. Yes, sink that, and all of that crude doesn't get to Britain. Okay. Question is, are we going to get detected? Because at the minute, it looks like the answer might be yes. Okay. Shit. Thank you, Commissar. Thank you very much, Commissar. Okay, so there's a big tanker target. Lock onto it, and let's see if we can get a firing solution. It's moving at around 101 degrees on its current course. 101 degrees, current course. Okay, let's plot ourselves an intercept. So assuming that we got to fire a little earlier than expected, let's fire. Let's fire here. So when it crosses that, so that makes a range of about 3.5 kilometers. 3.5 kilometers. What's the bearing on that? Let's cut my engine.
Yes, sir. I'll stop.
Place it here. That will make the bearing about 41 to 43 degrees. 43 degrees bearing. The angle on the bow between the tanker's bridge and my U-boat is 25 degrees. That's very unfavorable. Okay, so I don't necessarily want to use this, and I know that they're moving at 8 knots. So at this point, the U-boat captain would look down his instruments, and he would tell the men in the torpedo room to tell the torpedo to, when it leaves the barrel, when it leaves the torpedo tube, to start turning towards bearing 43 and travel down it. So that's 1, 2, 3. There we go. Tight, very tight. There we go. The range, this doesn't really matter. This is more just my own timing to determine when we've actually got a hit. 3.5. Okay, tighter. So 2 torpedoes. And then this is the clever bit. So from here, this early computer is able to determine where exactly it will be based on its speed and the angle on the bow. So if the angle on the bow was 25 degrees, that would place it 10, 20, 25, and then 8 knots. The target will be here. This means that even a dumbfire torpedo, so long as your quarry maintains its heading, it will just drive onto your torpedo. Boom. Now, hang on. Let's see if we can get an identification on the tanker. Am I going to use this solution, or am I going to get detected? Can I tell? So these notepads would come from spies. This is why it was so critical that you needed to deal with espionage. Because if the spies can get the details about the ship, it's definitely a tanker. It's a big tanker, everyone. Let's look at the front profile based on these sketches. 1, 1, 2. I think it is a large tanker. Yes, it's a large tanker. Confirmed its designation. That gives it a draft of around 12. Just over 12. Damn, the seas are twisting there. It's moving up and down. 10, 11, 12 on its draft. Just over 12. So that means the depth beneath the waterline. Switch the torpedoes over to magnetic. So they'll explode not on impact, but if something is metal above its head. Okay. Lock on. How far is it away from the solution? It's a few minutes. Okay, so lower the conning tower. Yeah, lower the lower. Just to hide ourselves for a second. So at this point in the war, there were no homing torpedoes. They were just an experiment. So that's solution number 1. But that's the unfavourable one. So let's see if we can get a better one. Solution number 2 would be firing pretty much like point blank here. 1.4 kilometers. Hang on. So that's solution number 1. Shit, I mixed up my solutions. Here. Okay. 1.4 kilometers. 8 knots. Okay. And then, what's the bearing on that? That's bearing 3. Turn my head. 345. Yeah. 345 degrees, and the angle on the bow is now far more favourable. So instead of being a tiny target, it's a huge target. 82 degrees angle on bow. Okay. So that would be the ideal, if we can get there undetected. So is that going to be true? Are we going to get there undetected? Quick poke up at the periscope again. Are the destroyers about to sweep us? There's one. You know what? I'm just gonna reverse propeller.
Back slow.
Ease away from him. Oh shit. No.
1 degrees to port.
Rudder amidship, rudder amidship.
Weather 0 degrees to port.
Shit. It's an American destroyer. Okay. They could stand in my pocket, and there were a couple of documented cases where they have, but typically U-boats would not attack submarines, and U-boats would not go to blows. Their role was ambush. To basically sit in the Atlantic and then put torpedoes in the path of slow-moving fat ships. Okay, so solution 1. So, if we hear a ping, so what's going on for those not familiar, sorry, is that destroyer is pinging sound off into the deep. ASDIC. It's a very, very primitive sonar. So if we hear the sound of a ping of our metal hull, then in their ASDIC room, a little blob turns into a blip. Then they know that there's something metal down here. And we've been found. But if they don't,
Yes, sir. I'll stop.
kill the engine. Then we've gotten past their sweep.
Knots.
Okay. Up we go. You know, we might actually get away with it. We might genuinely get away with it. If I can get past the initial screen, we'll be inside the middle of the convoy. I can close to close range and just start blasting, frankly. I haven't done that in a long time. Not since, like, 1940. Thank you, Solon. Thank you. Yes, narrator. Yes. In short, Smart Danger, we're playing as a Nazi U-boat, or a Kriegsmarine U-boat, attacking Allied shipping. When they first started moving cargo across the Atlantic, they weren't moving in a convoy system, or rather the British did, but the Americans were reluctant to do it. And hell, there's plenty of voices in the British Admiralty that didn't want to do it either. But this is by far the most efficient way. By huddling the ships together like this, they may look fat and slow and vulnerable, but it means that you can concentrate your destroyer defences around them. Oh really, Lord of Rawn? I can't remember. You know what? I think we've gotten away with it.
Yes, sir. Ahead slow.
Ahead slow. Right. Get as close as I can, then. Yes, sorry, kill no tick. If a destroyer gets a ping, it will start coming around and closing in. It will keep bouncing sound off my hull until it finds my approximate position. Once it's found it, it over-revs its screws in order to pick up as much speed as it can, at which point it will either attempt to ram me, which will pretty much instant kill me. The bow of a destroyer slicing through the thin, relatively thin hull of the U-boat is a death sentence. Or, if we go deep, they'll attempt to drop depth charges on our heads. Basically barrels of weighted explosives with timed charges on them. About 150 kilograms of explosive in each one, roughly. The intention here, with a depth charge, is not to hit the submarine. The intention is to detonate them either side of the submarine, so they're launched in pairs. So you drop one here, and then the explosion that is triggered will cause hydrostatic shock. A powerful shock wave will go through the water and then cause a sort of cavity, which will collapse, and then again and again and again. Imagine having a rubber ruler in your hand, and then you bend it left and right. So if you've got like a ruler on your table, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to bend the submarine so that it breaks. If you can do it right, it can be incredibly effective. Okay, we've actually managed to get inside the convoy's defensive screen, so holy shit, folks. What an opportunity, eh? Right, so let's take advantage. Right, quick scoot. What are we dealing with here? I should fire the first two and then just frankly just go in and just start blasting. You could, Sven, you could fire your torpedo against a destroyer, but bear in mind all the destroyer needs to do is turn slightly and the torpedo misses. Any U-boat captain who uses his precious torpedoes on a destroyer is a fool. Not when there are tankers and shit here. Look at this, look at that, god damn, look at this prize in front of us. Kill the engine.
Stop.
Select the fattest ship. Honestly, I still want the tanker. Right. Yeah, there we go. So there's our prize. Angle on the bow. Wait, what am I doing? Okay, just make sure my measurements are correct. There we go, 82. So, firing solution is now 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3, 5, 9. 8 knots. Range doesn't matter, but for the sake of argument, it's about 1k. Okay. And then it's 82 degrees on the angle on the bow. There we go. So, that's what we're going to do. Where is my tanker? Is that him? Nope, that's a cargo ship. Fuck, damn swells. Sorry, apologies for the sniffling, folks. Cargo ship, troop transport. Where the hell's my tanker? Large tanker. There you are. Okay, so let's set up my torpedoes. So tubes 1 and 4. Let's reset my prior settings. There he is, large tanker. So bring the... There we go. 159. I can now widen the spread a bit to ensure we get a good hit. There we go. The range was about 1 kilometer. There we go. Depth 11, 12, just over 12. Slow moving magnetic triggers. Okay. And then it was 82 degrees. So there's 90. 82 degrees. What? Wrong side, sorry. This is the ship relative to me. So for those joining confused, I'm effectively telling the torpedo to correct its course once it leaves the tube to fire where it will be, not where it is. There we go. It should be there. Right, we're ready. So I'm now going to lower the periscope a little bit. So it's now 59. So yeah, when it crosses that crosshair, that's when I fire. And it should be where, yeah, it should slam straight into it. Okay. The draft is too high. 12 meters on the draft. 10, 11, 12, 13. No, it's fine. You need to fire under the ship. Don't hit the draft exactly. Otherwise, it'll just bounce. Are there 2 ships already damaged? Probably. I've attacked this convoy before. Okay, here we go. So that should be my target, I think. Okay, after that, I'm just going to close and start shooting at whatever I can. Thank you, Danger Banal. Thank you very much, Danger Banal. Thank you, Seattle Surf. Okay. Up periscope. Where's my tanker? There you are. Get ready. Open torpedo tubes 1 and 4. Tubes 1 and 4 opening. Tubes open. Hopefully they'll go onto that ship okay. Here we go. Is that my ship? No. No, it's the ship behind it that I'm looking at. This is my ship. Yep, this is the one I want. I think, right? Large tanker. Yep, there we go. Here we go. And torpedoes in the water. Let's go. Ahead slow. Right. Switch over to the other 2 tubes. Fast moving, impact. Torpedoes away. We'll go for the big fat one behind it. Don't get run over by this ship.
Yes, sir. I'll stop.
We'll stop. Get the rear tubes next, actually. Fire a couple behind us. These will be slow moving impacts. A depth of around 3 meters. Okay, here we go. I'll fire at that big cargo. Oh, okay, here we go. Right. Don't detonate, don't detonate, don't detonate. Okay, good. The smaller ship has been avoided. Oh no, have I cocked up? We'll see. I may well have cocked up. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, miss. The swell missed it. Direct hit. Excellent. Thank you, Carl. Woo! Oh my god. It's going up like a firework. God damn, that was full of crude. Alright, okay. The destroyers are alert. They know that there's a U-boat with them. Now, let's just start blasting. So, up periscope. So they're trying to take evasive action now. Reset this. Open rear torpedo tubes. Give me slow movers. There we go. Just open the spread angle just a bit there because it's a big ship behind me. Okay, and then we should be good. Slow moving. Yep. And fire. Torpedoes away. Am I going to get run over? Oh shit. I'm going to get run over. Quickly.
Ahead full.
Take us down a bit.
New depth 2-4 meters.
Take us down, take us down, take us down. Don't get hit by this ship. Right, torpedoes in the water behind me. These are impacts, not magnetic. So they should hopefully not bounce if we got a good angle. Oh, there we go. Don't bounce. Very good. Impact 1. Impact 2. Fantastic. God damn. Right. Thank you, Carl. The destroyers are trying to figure out where... Woo! Yikes. We're okay.
Current depth 20.
Back up to periscope depth.
Yes, sir. Periscope depth.
Let's see if we can get another one before we have to submerge. Angry destroyers are on their way. Okay. Holy shit. It's going well. Wait, were those depth charges? So give me a nice tight spread. Forward facing. Impact fast movers. Up we go.
Yes, sir.
Ahead full. Periscope depth.
Periscope depth.
Okay, that's a troop ship in front of us. Try to go for that one. That looks like a tanker. Shouldn't really matter either way. Just hit something. We've got to do it quick. There's our tanker that we hit. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay. Quickly, quickly, quickly.
Yes, sir. Periscope depth.
Here we go. Back up to periscope depth. Cargo back there. In fact, to be honest, let's just hit this. There's a huge cargo one right in front of us. Yeah, hit this big one right in front of us. Oh, hello. Ooh, that tanker really is going down. Trouble is, it's within the minimum range. The torpedoes won't arm. God damn. Poor bastards. Yeah, we have to go for that one. Come on, will you move? Shit, I got a destroyer bearing down on me. I don't have long. I really don't have long. Okay. In which case, let's just book it forward then.
Heads down.
Yeah, there we go, there we go, there we go. Come on, clear my line of fire. You're the one I want, not this one. Okay, so quickly. Fast moving impacts around 4 meters deep. Open the tubes. That destroyer's closing on me really hard. I shouldn't get greedy, I've got to do this now. Here I go. Torpedoes away. Hopefully that's a goodie. Let's take us down deep, ahead full.
7 meters. Ahead full.
We've got to go, that destroyer's closing. Right. Torpedoes away. How did I do? Thank you, Gingst. Thank you very much, Gingst, for the well wishes. Looks good. Maybe that is a troop ship. And... excellent. Holy shit. Wonderful. Did we miss a single torpedo? I think we did right at the start, didn't we? When that tanker went down. Marvelous. Here comes the destroyer. Okay, they are pissed.
Moving away.
They are really pissed.
730. Short range. Contact. Merchant. Moving away. Bearing 316.
Okay.
Current depth 40.
So, let's get deep. Let's get quiet. They're in the wrong place.
Current depth 50.
Okay. Not bad, eh? So, according to this, what did we just sink?
Current depth 60.
8:12. What's the time now? 8:12. 8:09. We just sunk an ore carrier. Oh, holy shit. All three were sunk?
70.
A modern tanker, an ore carrier, and an Empire-type freighter. So that's 7,356 tons for the tanker, 8,083 tons for the ore carrier, and 6,781 tons for the freighter. Not bad, eh? So the tanker's already under the water. The... Was this the ore carrier? She's pretty much a wreck. They're trying to avoid each other. Where was the other one we hit? There. Okay. Head slow. Deploy decoys. Okay. And make sure we're on... we are on silent running. Okay. So, I've kicked a barrel of... I can't remember. It's some sort of chemical which is having a reaction with the seawater to generate a shit ton of bubbles. So that should, hopefully, confuse the operators of the hydrophones up on the surface. Okay. So, for those not familiar, the U-boat itself is not really a submarine, it's a submersible. So we can go down, but we can't go deep, nor for long. We don't have access to the surface, and the surface, well, in order to use diesel engines, we have to be on the, we have to use to access the air in order to vent the exhaust. So, whilst down here, we're on battery power, which means our speed and our range is very limited. So, sorry, pardon me, I just need to clear my throat one more time, trying to avoid making disgusting noises. Sorry, I'm having a hard time keeping my airways clean. Right. Uh-oh. I can hear a destroyer. Observation periscope. So we're down to 137 meters. Hello, destroyer. I can see your bow. I can hear your propeller. I can see your depth charges. Okay. So, one of the destroyers is lazily dropping his depth charges where he thinks we were. How deep do they think we are? We should go a bit deeper. Take us down to 160. Okay. They've pretty much got the correct depth. Almost. Okay. So, up on the surface, how many? Just the one? Seems so. Not bad, eh? Well, really good. Although, why doesn't it show the kill markers here? It clearly says that I've got the kills. So far, it's been a good convoy attack. Holy shit! So we left. We left from a milk cow submarine out in the Atlantic Ocean on April the 3rd. We sank 2 ships from this convoy: a Cyclops-type collier and a whale factory ship. And then these 3 ships here. That's really good. So there, and then there. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to disengage, and yeah, then reassess the situation. We've still got some forward reserves and some aft reserves, although we have to surface and get them out of the pressure hull on the outside of the submarine. Okay. So, as we cruise away slowly, let's give the game a save, actually. Yeah, if you haven't played this, I do strongly recommend. Don't play it without the Grey Wolves expansion, though. It really does add to it a great deal. The vanilla game is quite bare bones compared to the expansion. Ah, there we go. Ship sinking. They're still depth charging. So we're down there, almost directly beneath the ship. Thank you, Sotsius. And thank you, Rembro. JJ Pippin, I've not played Silent Hunter 4 and 5, but my understanding is that it was Silent Hunter 3 was really good, Silent Hunter 4 was okay, and Silent Hunter 5 was awful. They basically killed the series. Apparently they were never able to recapture the magic of this one. Yeah, this is considered to be the height of the series before it ran aground. Okay. So, let's speed up the time a little bit. So we did the attack just after 8 in the morning. Oh, shit, we are.
Critical depth, sir. Yes, sir. New depth. 148 meters.
Alright. Was that a viable strat for us, being directly under the other ships to keep destroyers from dropping the depth charges? Well, you could. In fact, I know that that was something that they would attempt in order to get into harbours to perform harbour attacks. But you've got to remember that that would be really early war. In the early parts of the war, if you're close enough to the point that you are on top of the ship that you're attacking, well, A, you can't attack the ship, and B, if you're discovered, you're never getting away. Basically, you want to fire your torpedoes and then scoot. What I'm doing there is quite brazen. Once the submarine's general location is devised, you've lost most of your advantage. Remember, we're not the hunters, we're the hunted. Okay. Oops, sorry. I don't know, Zovi. Depends if I get in the mood. So I'm pulling away from the convoy. So one of the techniques that they would use, during the Battle of the Atlantic was, rather than have individual U-boats attack, they would circle the convoy. They would, one U-boat would pick them up and then start broadcasting the convoy's location, and the other U-boats would close in and start shadowing it, waiting for nightfall. Then, at a predetermined time, the U-boats would all pounce upon the convoy in order to hopefully overwhelm the destroyer defences. The technique was called the Wolf Pack. And whilst it saw early successes, it did have a number of problems. The micromanaging sort of attempt to sort of send radio messages back and forth in order to coordinate this from the Kriegsmarine HQ meant that those radio messages could be intercepted. No problem, thought the Kriegsmarine. We have the Enigma code machine, with its multiple combination wheels that would prevent anybody from understanding any of the messages that they receive. Of course, that's what they thought. What they didn't anticipate was that, at the time, Great Britain had the finest intelligence service in the entire world, and one could argue probably still does. By this point in the war, the codes had been thoroughly broken, not just through British ingenuity, but also American valor. There are many examples of extremely extremely brave instances where both British and American sailors, engineers, have boarded U-boats before they were scuttled in order to steal their Enigma code books. Not just the code books themselves, but also intact examples of the Enigma machine. So all the way through the war, the Allies were regularly reading the exact positions of the U-boats and which convoys were going to be attacked and when. So it was definitely a win for intelligence, for clever people in their manor house at Bletchley, deciphering and working with the people actually on the front itself, the people fighting bravely in the Atlantic Ocean. So yes, the code books were cracked, which meant that all of these radio messages going back and forth actually caused a huge problem for the Kriegsmarine. Dönitz in particular was a bit of a micromanaging type person, and he wasn't being particularly helpful in that he was getting his wolf packs discovered. The second problem is inherent to the nature of the U-boat itself. It's a submersible. It doesn't spend most of its time underwater. It's on the surface. And here's the problem with being on the surface. What if there's a type of vehicle which can travel very, very quickly to scour and search for you when you're on the surface, especially in the daytime before your attack? What if that type of vehicle could be launched from airfields or even aircraft carriers en masse? The plane was starting to determine its location at the very top of the pyramid when it comes to modern warfare. So planes, that's the weakness of the U-boat. Once detected on the surface, they had to dive, and if they had to dive, that meant that they couldn't really take part in the attack. Okay. The Americans at this point, pretty much endlessly helpful, were providing a sort of escort carrier. It's a very short-decked carrier, it's sort of built atop of a cargo ship hull, like a hull. It's not like a fleet carrier. It's not like a huge carrier. But still, it was a carrier. They could only carry like 25 planes, but that was enough. That was enough. 25 planes is plenty, especially if your mission is escorting a convoy and keeping the damn U-boats away from it. So more and more, as the Battle of the Atlantic started to go, Dönitz's U-boats were forced to operate away from air cover in this gap here, until eventually this was plugged with, I think, bases in... It was either bases in Greenland or was it Iceland? I can't remember. Using extremely long-range planes that the Americans had pioneered. Okay, so let's come back up to the surface. Take us out of silent running.
Yes, sir.
Periscope depth.
Periscope depth.
So anyway, for the people just joining, sorry if I sound unwell. I'm having trouble keeping my airways clear right now. Okay. Well, they do, Kurufin. You got to remember that they kind of do. So the breaking of the code meant that the grid positions that the U-boats were ordered to move to were known. So the Allies would simply steer their convoys around the U-boats. I'm not exaggerating. So if they knew that there were U-boats here, here, and here, they would direct the convoy to skirt around them. In fact, it got so efficient that before the outbreak of the hostilities against America, British codebreakers were sending the exact positions of the U-boats that were coming to the American coastline and feeding all of this data over to the Americans. Just huge volumes of it. Unfortunately, was his name King? Admiral King? Unfortunately, at the time, the American admiral was openly incompetent and also a bit of an Anglophobe. He didn't trust the Royal Navy and so ignored the intelligence, and many hundreds of American sailors died. He'll go down in history as a complete cunt. Ernest King, that was his name, yeah. They've learnt their lesson now, but goddamn. Sorry, wasn't it something like 2,000 sailors died in Pearl Harbor? I think something like 5,000 sailors died off the coast of the east coast, off the east coast of America. So it was a Pearl Harbor and then some. 2 Pearl Harbors, sorry, and then some. All because of Ernest King. All because of him. What a prick. Right. Hi there, tanks. Yeah, I'm feeling quite rough, I'm afraid. My body's feeling much stronger. It's just my throat is still. It just feels quite quite congested. Okay. Alright, so we're no longer in silent running. We're coming up to periscope depth now. Tell the men to get into the bow torpedo room. Where are my torpedo loaders? Oh, they're at the back, they're tired. So, we've got some external reserves that we can manage. Start with the 4 reserves. Move my men up here. Alright, cool. Not yet, Hug Mars. I fell sick and stayed pretty sick. I look forward to it, though. What's that? Sorry. Is that just a destroyer from the same... Hang on. What is that? Quick, before it leaves hydrophone range. Yeah, it's a destroyer. Okay. Sorry, one moment once again. Trying to not make horrid noises. There we go. Also, hi there, ZF Michaelanius. Michaelanius is in the chat, everyone. Hope you're very well, sir. Right. Okay, so we'll have a quick scout with the periscope. If anew, we can go back to the submarine pens, or we can stop at one of the milk cow submarines out in the Atlantic Ocean. So, resupply submarines. Purpose built. There's one over there. Okay. What's that? Why is there a sound contact behind us? 17 kilometers behind us at bearing 140. Slow down.
Yes, sir. Head slow.
That sounds like a merchant. Interesting. Did one fall behind? Is that a merchant alone with no escort? Okay. What do you think? Should we investigate? Thank you, Lumina. Bring the boat around. Let's just investigate for a second. Is that like a lone is it damaged? Did it fall behind the convoy? I did actually hit a couple of other ships in the convoy in my first attack. Maybe that's one that I winged. Okay. Take us up to the surface. Here we go. So there we go. Boat coming up. Front fins are raised. How's our battery power? Yeah, not too bad. That was an excellent attack. That was really, really good. So for those who didn't see it, we just sank 3 ships of heavy tonnage. An Empire-type freighter, an ore carrier, and a modern tanker. Front fin, whatever. Front flaps, fins, whatever. The fins that are on the front. You be quiet, Michaelanius. Okay, let's start loading these reserve torpedoes. It's going to take time to get the external reserves.
Current depth 1,
Okay.
0.
So let's get the officer of the watch up there. There you are. Okay. Stern quarters, get more men who are arrested. Right. Bring the U-boat round. Ahead standard. Ugh. Okay. So yeah, the convoy's trying to make the dash over the Atlantic. So let's pick up a bit of speed. So what are we talking about in front of us? Wait, whoa, whoa, whoa. Is that a radar contact? What is that? That looks like a radar contact. Does that imply that it's not a merchant? Maybe it's a trailing destroyer. Okay, I'm nervous. Take us back down to periscope depth. Bring us to one side so we can hear it with the hydrophones. Oh, there's no officer at the helm.
Yes, sir. Periscope depth.
Yes, indeed, Morak. There are many aircraft carriers, both escort and fleet. Okay. So bring the boat down. Head slow. Listen carefully. It's at a range of 13.3 kilometers on bearing 80. It doesn't sound like a destroyer. I don't know what that is. It does sound like a merchant, but why would a merchant have a radar?
Yes, sir.
Ahead full. Surface the boat.
Ahead full. Surface the boat.
It doesn't sound like an aircraft carrier either. Give it a sweep with my own radar. Up we go. Oh, my radar's never going to work in this, is it? Hang on. It's too low to the water. Yeah. Shit. It's useless. Okay. Get a bit closer, see what it is. That's definitely a radar contact. So it could just be like a wounded destroyer. Okay, hang on. Start the timer. 3 minutes and 15 seconds later. However far it's travelled, in meters, will be the number of kilometers it's travelling. Number of knots it's travelling. Okay. And we can also determine his bearing via his radar contact. 102 degrees. So he's moving roughly there. So we can move our vessel roughly
10.
here to see if he's anything worth hitting. That's 1 kilometer away. Thank you, Michaeladius. Thank you very much, sir. Diving planes, you flip-flop, he says. Charming. Thank you. Sorry, once again, I need to make horrid noises. I'm having a lot of trouble keeping my nose unblocked. There we go. I'm just popping some more honey and lemon on. Ugh. Okay. So, if you're just joining the stream, I've just attacked a convoy and managed to sink 3 ships. I'm just following a sound contact behind the convoy to determine exactly what it is. Hang on. So, 3, 2, 1, now. Your current radar position is here. That means that you've managed to travel about... Okay, you're moving at around 10 knots. Pretty much 10 knots exactly. So the convoy was moving at 8 knots. And destroyers can typically travel way faster than 10 knots if they're in a hurry, even in this swell, so... I don't know what you are. Right. Yeah, get ahead of it. Right.
Yes, sir.
Get a periscope depth and we'll wait.
All stop.
See what we're talking about here, eh?
Periscope depth. Yes, sir.
Abtauchstationen!
Might not be anything.
Current depth 10.
Okay. How are we doing with the torpedoes? Let's have a look. So, weapons officer. Okay, they're on the last torpedo now. It'll take about 10 minutes. We don't have any, yeah, the other torpedoes are in the external reserve, so that's going to take some time. Okay. Get some of my other officers resting. Right. Yeah, this guy needs some urgent rest. Send someone else, the watch officer, to supervise the torpedo room. Okay. Right, 1 second. Just going to get some honey and lemon. Also, behind the fish appears to be a birthday girl as of last week. Hey, gorgeous. Right, hang on. Ugh. Got the lurgy. Oh. Okay. So, let's see what exactly is going to turn up here, shall we? Maybe it's just a wounded destroyer after all. What are you? Yeah, you're small, whatever you are. Maybe you're not worth hitting. What are you? 3.7 kilometers at bearing 310. Can't see you yet. You're in a hurry. Corvette? A Corvette? That thing's tiny. Should we hit it? Should we hit it anyway for the funsies? Corvette? Why is that so far behind? Maybe it's not part of the convoy at all. Maybe it's completely unrelated. Like moving... I don't know. It's a small target. It's a very small target. So striking it is going to be a bit tricky. See what we can do. So... How are we doing? 85 degrees. So that makes it a shot of... Oh, hold on.
Yes, sir.
So
Rudder 0. Degrees to starboard. Rudder 0. Degrees to port.
lock onto it for a second. Corvette. We'll just get a second speed reading, just to make sure we get it right. Yeah, some dude enjoying his sailing holiday. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so that's about 85 degrees. Angle on the bow. It's a shot of around 19 degrees. Torpedo gyroscope. Range of about 800 meters. And a speed of to be correctly determined. Okay. So, a Corvette would be a small escort thing. Most of the initial Corvettes that they deployed were older ships, more like converted fishing trawlers. Needs must. What's the flag? Not sure. Okay. Give me torpedoes. Oh, damn. I've only got slow movers. Okay. Single torpedo. 2 meters deep. Yeah, 2 meters. Slow impact. Okay. So 19 degrees. There. 800 meters. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not that the range matters all that much. Okay. Speed to be determined. Okay. Hi there, Jumblina. Not great, I'm afraid. So, body-wise, I'm feeling much healthier. But my lungs just feel full of crap. And I've still got like a really blocked set of sinuses, and my ears keep popping. It's very uncomfortable. For those not familiar, I had a throat infection last week, which really did knock me on my arse. I rushed to the doctors on Tuesday when I couldn't breathe. Well, I could breathe, but it was uncomfortable. And they were like, I called them up, and they were like, yeah, come in right now. As in, they rushed me straight to the GP. And she had to listen to my lungs, but she thought that I was having a sort of overreaction of my asthma, and so gave me a bunch of steroids to try and suppress it, or rather to get it back in line. They didn't seem to do anything. Ah, hang on. My solution is not correct. Let's see if we can get a correction. He's making 106, 105 maybe. Is it not correct? Get ready with the timer. 3, 2, 1, now. Sorry. Okay, that's 8 knots. He's making 8 knots. Need to be quite precise. No, 9 knots. He's making 9 knots. Okay? So... 104. That's going to be really hard to hit this target, everyone. We're going to have to get quite lucky, I think. 104. 19. There we go. Okay, 19. Yeah, 86. Okay. 9 knots. There we go. So, go to my computer. There we go, 19. Angle on the bow. There we go, 86, right? So for the again, speaking to the people at the back who aren't familiar with what I'm doing, it's all well and good to fire the torpedo in one direction, but what we're doing here is these are dials on the torpedo itself. The crew in the torpedo room are adjusting. Sorry, there we go. They're adjusting the torpedo so when it enters the water, to fly off in a certain direction, to course correct for where the target will be, not where the target is. So, when we fire on 19 degrees, I want the torpedo to move that way, and hopefully it will intersect the target. Okay. So, there's our Corvette. It's British. Strange. It's Royal Navy. The convoy is American, the one that we're attacking. This isn't part of the convoy. Okay. So, what super secret mission do you think he's performing? Wrong answers only. Delivering tea? Probably. Jam and scones? Mm-hmm. Porn magazines? Well, he's coming from America, so what would we be desperately in need from? Well, apart from the war-related stuff, somebody sent a small Corvette quickly to America. Winston Churchill's personal supply of Twinkies, says Umlaut. We'll go with that. That entire cargo hold, full of the ship with the word boob on its front, is carrying hundreds and hundreds of Twinkies for Prime Minister Winston Churchill. Okay. So, now we wait. Here we go. God damn, is my solution this off? He's going this way now, what the fuck? Shouldn't matter. Right. Shit, hang on. Better shimmy. 20 degrees is the shot. $84, 20 degrees. Hang on. There we go. Come on. Fuck's sake. 20 degrees, there we go. Angle on the bow is 86. Thank you, Kira Vada and Jimmy Hoffax. Thank you very much. Thank you. Range. Oh, hello. Oh, shimmied a bit. Yeah, still 20 degrees. Range is about 800, I think. 900. Okay. 900 meters, there we go. Yep, 2 meters. Yeah, 3 meters. Impact, here we go. And speed, 9 knots. Here we go. Turn to face 20 degrees. So once the ship crosses that central line, opening torpedo tube 2. Thank you, Hyvik and Kevin and Sentinel Ninja. Thank you very much. Fingers crossed. Hi there, Kevin. I'm mending steadily. As you can probably tell, my voice is quite atrocious. But I've been working on the bullshittery, Armour, Part 10, going well, I think. Haven't started the keyframing though, I'm afraid. Still doing the cutting and the tightening. Here we go. But yeah, I think it's quite funny. But that doesn't mean much, because we'd all love to be our own critics. It's a question of whether or not the audience finds it funny. So, sorry, pardon me. Okay. Why did the Germans hide underwater when the English walk around in plain sight? Well, historically speaking, the Treaty of Versailles pretty much destroyed the surface fleet, meaning that the German fleet itself is actually relatively new. And second, an acknowledgement that no power on planet Earth was possibly going to stand toe-to-toe with the Royal Navy at the outset of the Second World War. That simply wasn't realistic, even for Germany. Here we go. Torpedo away. Here we go. Besides, remember, Germany did indeed focus on surface actions as well, to the annoyance of Dönitz, who had to compete continually for resources. The huge battleships, the enormous propaganda-focused battleships that they had. So it wasn't that Germany stayed underwater all the time, it was more an acknowledgement that to fight on the surface meant fighting toe-to-toe with the Royal Navy. Okay. Thank you, Easy Life. Thank you very much, Easy Life. I'm doubtful, to be honest. It's a very small target to hit. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, come on. Oh, don't bounce. Oh no. The swell lifted it up. A miss by centimeters. Ah, that's how it goes. Is it aware that it's under attack? Nope. Didn't even hear it. Oh dear. Fine. Winston Churchill gets his Twinkies. What a bastard. That wasn't a bad shot though. Yeah, we would have had that if the swell had lifted it down. Okay. Yes, or if I'd used a magnetic trigger. I suppose that's on me. Perhaps I should have used a magnetic trigger. Okay, so that leaves us with 3 electric torpedoes. Now, we can utilize electric torpedoes, but that is, well, it would require getting very close to the target. We do have external reserves, which we should definitely pull in. So let's get out of here.
Yes, sir.
We're going to stalk the convoy once again. See if we can pick them up again in a couple of days. Right. So, speed up the time. Let's go. Oh, is he coming around because he heard us? Oh, hello. Uh-oh. Is he coming in for revenge? I think he is. Crash dive now. Crash dive, head full. He's coming in. Take us down deep.
New depth 154 meters.
Let's go. Flood the ballast tanks. So, the front of the U-boat facing down, gliding deeper. So, as formidable as the sonar is, the ASDIC, it can be defeated by simply going deep. So the changes in saltwater content in the ocean and temperature, the thermocline I believe it's called, renders the sound bouncing into the deep ineffective. It comes back as a blob. So, we need to go deep and go quiet until he pisses off. So also, at this point in the war, the Allies were using another piece of technology that the Kriegsmarine did not truly appreciate. I mentioned earlier that Admiral Dönitz, back in Europe, was being quite micromanagey about his U-boats. This would necessitate sending radio broadcasts, which of course they were reliant on the fact that the Allies couldn't read. In many cases they didn't need to read them. There was a type of technology which they called Huffduff. Huffduff, I can't remember exactly how it worked, but it was effectively like a triangulation system for radio signals. They would use Huffduff to determine that something made a radio broadcast in this direction. And often that was all they needed. High frequency direction finding, says SRB Watt. Thank you very much. So this meant that the first U-boat to go, hello, I found a convoy, was basically, well, the operators aboard the destroyer would be like, there's totally a U-boat over there. And of course, by the time they get there, the U-boat is probably on the surface, isn't it? So, all of these things combined made the Battle of the Atlantic a technology war. So yeah, there was a lot of valor, there was a lot of bravery, but really it was about being on the cutting edge of technology. Okay. When do I want to use impact and when magnetic? Depends on the situation. If the swells on the sea are quite gigantic and you're having a hard time IDing the target, it's probably best to just go with impact. Just hit something. This is also true if there's lots of targets in a convoy. You can't guarantee that you're necessarily going to hit the one target, so go for impact. So even if you miss, you might hit the thing behind it. However, if the seas are calm and your target ID is excellent, you know exactly what you're shooting at, then you know exactly how it's coming. Basically, if the seas are calm and you can easily ID the target, go with magnetic. Impact will explode wherever you hit it, but magnetic can be, well, they can be quite fidgety. They need to be an exact depth, like under a meter beneath the keel. We should be okay. I can't get all the way. Let's sneak away. There's another one. What's that about? I guess there's just a bunch of warships trailing behind. There he is, he's circling, we can hear his propeller. Trying to figure out where we are. So it's now 20 minutes past 10 in the morning. We performed the initial attack on the convoy at 8 in the morning. What are the benefits of magnetic over the impact? So when an impact torpedo hits the side of a ship, just Morby, it will cause a very distinctive type of hole in the side of the ship. When you look at old photographs of torpedo damage, you'll see what I mean. Like the entire side of the ship will be buckled inwards, right? So, when this occurs, there's a rush to seal watertight doors, there's an attempt to control the flooding with pumps, But generally speaking, if the ship is large enough, it will probably be okay. There's also a bunch of other things that you can do to diminish the damage that occurs. For example, anti-torpedo bulges can be built on the side of a ship, so that if the torpedo hits the side of the ship, it just hits something non-vital, like a flooded compartment. So these things collectively can dampen the effect of impact torpedoes, or even just trailing nets. I'm not even kidding. Just anti-torpedo nets down the side of the ship. The idea behind magnetic torpedoes, technology in its infancy, at the time of the First World War, and certainly by the second, well, more refined by the second, but not by a huge amount, to be fair. The idea is to not detonate the torpedo against the side of the vessel, but underneath it. The magnetic trigger will explode the torpedo if it detects a sizable shift in the Earth's magnetic field, for example, if there's something metal above the torpedo. The intention there is to not only explode the torpedo when the armor is minimal, so beneath the ship, but also to create a cavity that the ship will fall into. So imagine in front of you a battleship. So imagine that you've got the hull of a battleship. If you were to detonate a high explosive torpedo, a massive torpedo, beneath the very middle part of the ship, you create a huge air bubble, which subsequently causes the weight of the ship to bend inwards. The stern, so the front and the back of the ship are standing still. The middle suddenly lurches downwards. This can cause an effect which was known as breaking the back of the ship. You could effectively destroy a ship in one shot. Even a massive aircraft carrier, like even a modern aircraft carrier, could be potentially, that's it, done. Scrap it. Even if it doesn't sink, you got to scrap it. The entire backbone of the ship has been broken. There's no recovery. So that was the intention with the magnetic torpedo. So lots of navies were developing them, were working on them, sorry. My nose, I'm so sorry. For some reason, the Americans were bizarrely secretive about it. They went to crazy lengths to try and hide the technology, even though it was cutting edge, but it was openly used all over the place. So yes, magnetic triggers. The British got a bit of an intelligence coup when the Germans actually dropped a magnetic mine on land in Great Britain. I think they were aiming for the Thames, but they missed. So we were actually able to get hold of completely intact, state-of-the-art versions of German magnetic triggers during the Second World War, which was incredible. But yes, all individual nations were working on these magnetic torpedo or mine technology. Okay, let's go back up to periscope depth. Thank you, Frostcup. Thank you. What's an effective countermeasure for preventing a magnetic torpedo? So you could run cables down the side of your vessel. Was the term degaussing? To try and reduce the size of the magnetic footprint of your ship. That was one way. Another, typically more effective way, was simply minesweeping when it came to the mines. You would drag these huge electrified nets behind your ship to try and mimic the shape of a much larger vessel, as in the magnetic outline of a much larger vessel, in the hopes that a small mining trawler could detonate these mines. But yeah, if you could get them working properly, they could be very effective. And therein lies the rub. They're very hard to get working properly. During the Norwegian campaign, the Kriegsmarine were ordered to only use magnetic torpedoes, but they didn't work. There was this huge ship-flinging contest between the manufacturers of the torpedoes, the Kriegsmarine, and I think pretty much most echelons of the German Navy. Because the simple reason is they require calibration, and the Earth's magnetic field is different depending on whether you're here or here or here. So all of a sudden, magnetic torpedoes that were tested here, surprisingly, or wherever, here, weren't working very well here. They just weren't triggering. Or like here. They sorted it out eventually. They managed to fix the problem, but by that point, goddamn. So many ships went unsunk. Sorry. Sure thing, Cirilla. Sorry, in short, a torpedo that explodes not when it hits something, but when something metal is above the torpedo, notably a ship. Does way more damage that way, but the triggers are hard to get working properly. Okay, so we're just coming back up to the surface. Sorry, I'm doing my best, folks, but I must admit I'm really I'm having trouble. I might have to wrap it up fairly soon. Okay. How do I get the torpedoes out from the external reserves? I may be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure they're like here. There's like a small hatch on the external pressure hull of the submarine. So, if we surface the boat, the men can come out of the conning tower, and they can start climbing down onto the side of the vessel to carefully remove the torpedoes, and then lower them into a hatch in the front. It's a bit of a slow process, though, and it will leave us exposed on the surface for quite a few hours. Okay. So, stand by. Yeah, that's probably the Corvette. Okay. What happened to Churchill? Churchill's back in Britain right now, but we tried to sink a ship which, for the sake of role-playing, we're going to say was carrying Twinkies. We missed. God damn it. Churchill's personal Twinkie delivery. But yes, if you're watching the stream, though, and you're interested, I do strongly recommend Silent Hunter 3. Don't play it without the Grey Wolves expansion, though.
Surface the boat.
Here we go. So, 1943, things are going very, very badly for Germany. Again, speaking to the people who aren't familiar with what's going on in the Second World War, the hope was, in the 1940s, that Britain could be forced to capitulate by severing their supply line and leaving them isolated with America unwilling to help. The hope was that the British could be forced to the table, to the negotiating table. Hitler at the time had great respect for the British, apparently, as part of his weird his weird belief system, believing that the British were like what's the term for it? Like, not necessarily on the same racial tier as Germans, but not like the next rung down the ladder. So his intention was to work with Britain. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out that way, for him at least, and they dug in. At which point, everyone, the entire world, pretty much expected Britain was going to fall. But America ensured that did not happen. Resources started flooding in from America, who, whilst not possessing the will to fight, its leaders certainly realized what would happen if the pendulum of right-wing fascism rose up and consumed all of Europe. It wouldn't be long before it was on the coast of America. So, they started initially with Lend-Lease and then advanced later into it, before, of course, joining the war in 1942 with the attack on Pearl Harbor, where for some reason Hitler decided to declare war on America, which was frankly insane. That was crazy. Hitler was the one to declare war on America when, frankly, America... they were dealing with the Japanese. There was no overt indication that they were going to dive straight into the War of the Atlantic. Hitler made a boo-boo. Big time. Anyway, so the Americans are on they're here full time now. So, yeah, they're in the Second World War. Now, what's happening over here is that in 1940... 1941. The attack against the Soviet Union was initiated by Nazi Germany, the intention being to quickly knock them out. The hope was that Britain would be dealt with by then. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But based on the fact that the Soviet Union was perceived to be incredibly weak, the intention was to quickly storm in the words of Hitler, kick the door down and the whole rotten structure collapses. That did not work out well at all. Despite this huge amount of territory secured, the Soviets could afford to sell that territory, getting all the way to the gates of Moscow, where now it's turned into this enormous, horrible slugging fest, where more and more resources are being dragged to the Eastern Front, and all of Nazi Germany's finest men are just being thrown into the grinder, and it's a shit show. And now it's turning. It's really turning. The Soviets are no longer incompetent, and they're now starting to dig in and push back and counterattack, and it's all going horribly wrong. So, more and more resources are flooding in across the Atlantic. Next month, which is May 1943, we're going to see Black May, which is the highest loss of U-boats for the Kriegsmarine, 25% in 1 month. At which point, all U-boats are subsequently recalled, and a change of strategy is advised. So, the turning point of the Battle of the Atlantic. The reason I'm saying this is, so it's now that Allied planners are starting to consider that maybe an alternate front on the western coast of Europe would be advised. Some sort of amphibious invasion, some sort of operation needs to be decided, well, exactly what it's going to be and where it's going to occur. So, soon we're going to see preparations for Normandy. So we can expect lots of resources coming in from America soon. So, that will be next year, almost this time next year, a few months after. So, yeah. Oh, yes, and of course, North Africa. So, so the Axis attempt to secure the entire northern coast of Africa to cut the Suez Canal. That's backfired horrendously, and the Allies have pushed them all the way back to Tunisia. So things are going absolutely awful for the Nazis, and they never get better. Okay. So we're on the surface now. We attacked at 8 in the morning on April the 11th. It's now 11 in the morning. The weather's not great, to be honest. These swells. So, let's see if we can intercept that convoy and get ahead of it once again. Let's also get the men to start getting the external reserves. How long will that take? So we've got the 4 reserves waiting in the queue. Hang on. Stern torpedo room? Is that the correct one? No? Did I get it wrong? Hang on. There we go. It's going to take quite some time. Right. Thank you, Percivo. And thank you, Donut... Donut Know Why? Just a Mechanic, Hoodoo, Basoka, and Sigma Rho, and Frostcup and Nipex. Thank you, all of you. Thank you. Are the green cities neutral? Yes. Are they? Yes. Neutral countries. Not that many remaining. So, let's continue. I didn't realise that a little corvette had radar, but evidently. Very much so, silver music. It's now 20 minutes past 12. Now then, where is our convoy? Where have they gone? Let's assume that they continued at 112.5 degrees. So they probably continued this course. Moving at...
Yes, sir.
head full, please. They were moving at 8 knots, weren't they?
Head full.
So how long would it take us to get this far? To pick up speed. I'm not so sure, Nick. I can't remember. Hang on. Can you move a torpedo? I can't remember. Okay. Let's make sure that we got officers resting as well. Right. Thank you, Donut. I too had some very enthusiastic history teachers. So yeah, I do enjoy my history. Thank you, TiVo. Thank you very much, TiVo. Where's the convoy? Let's move a little bit closer. So 2 hours will be here. Whoop, shit. Shit. So 2 hours. How far can they move? In 2 hours, according to my speed chart, they can move about 33 kilometers. So assuming that they're there, maybe there? We'll pick up their radar signals. Or rather, their radar signals will pick up us. So it's now almost 4 in the afternoon. Hello, that must be them. Okay. What sort of range? 26 kilometers. Here we go. Is that them? It's got to be them. Yep, that's them. We found our convoy. Okay. So these are radar radar signals being sent by those destroyers. So assume that their course, well, we don't need to assume. We can determine pretty precisely what their course is. Right. Oh no, wait, we can't because they're destroyers and they're moving around on their sweeps, aren't they? Yeah. Okay, so assume that this convoy is probably, so clear all markers, they're probably making 112 degrees. 112.5 degrees, which is what they were doing before, right? So, if every 2 hours they can travel 33, so 33 kilometers, so that's where they'll be in about 2 hours' time. Where can I move in 2 hours? I can move there. No, do another. What about 4 hours? Well, I've got to... it's going to get dark soon. Well, I suppose I need it to be dark if I'm going to get that close. I can't fire from anything below 5 kilometers now. Those electric torpedoes are very short range. Then again, my rear tubes are gas. Okay. So it doesn't matter. So, 4 hours. Yeah, we'll try to go for a nighttime attack. 66 kilometers from their current location. They'll be here. But we... 3 hours. 3.5 hours. Okay, we'll try that. Alright then. Right, so let's give that a save. Let's see how we go. It's a convoy hero, so it's many ships, like 20 or so. Here we go. So we should, yes, so 5, so just before 8 o'clock. Oh shit, what's that? Am I getting rushed? Shit, shit. Crash dive, quick. I think that's a plane. Crash dive. Do they have air cover now? Uh-oh. Come on, take us down. Yeah, looks like a plane. What is it? Get down. Oh, dearie me. Okay. Are those rocket pods? What the fuck? Pull down, pull down, pull down. Oh, shit the bed. Pull down. Get deep. Oh god, 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 oh god. Oh god! Ooh! Ooh! Okay. Okay. Alright. And you can see, everyone, the true threat to the U-boat. Right.
Current depth 20. Yes, sir. New depth 2.
So that's a land-based plane.
Head 1/3.
Shit. Must be coming from Iceland. Crap. Maybe I should leave this convoy then, look. Yeah, goddamn. They've entered the air cover. Where are we? So we're in grid AK. AK there. Yep. It's coming from Iceland. Okay. So, I mean, it is about to be nightfall, but here's the problem. So it's not a question of the plane necessarily getting me. It's more the problem that the plane can circle, and I have to submerge in order to compete. Sorry, I have to surface in order to compete. Right. Whoops. Oh, is he still circling? Weirdly, why is it selecting that ship instead of a plane? Is he still up there? There he is. Hang on. What type of plane is that then? So, I think they're rocket pods, aren't they? Holy shit. So, is that a... Let's have a look. Is that an Avro Lancaster? It looks like it. So, this is a type of plane called... So, the Avro Lancaster. It's a British Second World War heavy bomber. It was designed and manufactured by Avro as a contemporary of the Hadley Page Halifax. Both bombers having been developed at the same specification, and all three aircraft being four-engined heavy bombers adopted by the Royal Air Force during the same era. So, a long unobstructed bomb bay meant the Lancasters could take the largest bombs used by the RAF, including 4,000-pound, so that's 1,800-kilogram bombs, and 12,000-pound blockbusters. The Lanc, as it was known colloquially, became one of the most heavily used Second World War night bombers. Okay. Sorry. Oh dear. Forgive me, just one moment. Oh dear. Apologies, folks. I think I might have reached the upper limits of what I can possibly manage, health-wise this morning, this afternoon even. I'm having coughing fits now. So thank you for watching, folks. I'll probably leave it there if that's all right. For those not familiar, I had a throat infection last Thursday, which ballooned into what seemed to be a full-on chest infection come Tuesday, of last week. So, as you can tell, I'm still suffering quite considerably. So what I'm going to go do now is I'll save this game and pick this up again later. I'm working on Armor Bullshittery Part 10. The work on that project never really stopped. I just continued it as best I could whilst just coughing and spluttering. So, what I need to do now is I need to finish the cutting phase for that bullshittery. The first part of the cutting phase, as in the assembling of the clips, is kind of done. What I'm doing now is a part 2, like a phase 2 of the cutting, which, through bad habit, I often put at the very end. I shouldn't really do that. I often mix it into the quality assurance. So, basically, too long didn't read. I'm going to keep cutting together the armor bullshittery, and we'll start its keyframing work soon. Sorry. I need to go, I'm afraid. Thank you again for your generosity, folks. Thank you, Patcher, Cregan, Next Rescue, Fock18, Draken, and Nepu, and Tivo. Thank you, all of you. Anyway, let me just have a look and see who's doing what. Thank you, Merbles. Oh, bloody hell. I look forward to being well again, because this sucks. Right. Edberg is doing Project Zomboid. Quebec is doing Train Sim. Sheep is doing Jurassic World Evolution. I'll leave you in Quebec's company, and you can see him drive his choo-choo trains. Right. Thank you again, everyone. Have a lovely afternoon.